Okay, so we're making another requested recipe, one of the most requested spice demo breakfast items, which is the Latin American spiced vegetable frittata. And you could use pretty much any vegetables and any cheese that you'd like to use. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a 9-egg frittata today. And we're going to use a little Reggiano Parmesan and mozzarella cheese, and actually a little of the Latin American blend today, but you could easily use also, of course, the Italian, which would go very nice with these cheeses and these accompaniments, and go Italian vegetables like mushrooms and zucchini. A lot of times I use sun-dried tomatoes. Whatever you have, for the sake of what we have today and what sounds good, we're just going to use these vegetables in our Latin spice blend. The Latin spice blend has a lot of toasted cumin, chipotle powder, coriander, and onion, garlic. Really nice for this type of a breakfast item. So we're going to go ahead and slice a few potato rings that are going to go on the bottom of the pan of the frittata, which actually turns into the top of the frittata. So we're going to slice nice rounds, about 1/4 of an inch thick. And we're going to go ahead and put them into the cast iron pan that I have heating over at the stove. These pans are ideal for this type of application. It's nice to have them seasoned. Just about everybody's got one of these laying around. So you just want to fit your potatoes into the pan in some kind of a nice looking fashion, if at all possible. A little bit of salt. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and saute some onion. Red pepper. Kind of nice to do these at the same time because as you're sauteing your veggies, you can make sure that your potatoes are not sticking to the bottom of your pan. And you want them to have a nice golden brown. What's going to end up happening is we're going to saute these vegetables, and when they get nice and translucent and tender and flavorful, after we add garlic and the Latin spice blend into there, we're going to actually put these on top of these potatoes to keep the potatoes pressed down, and then we're going to pour the egg mixture and put the cheese on top of that, so that when it goes in the oven, the potatoes are going to end up being on the top after we flip it over, after we convert the whole thing. Sounds complicated, but I assure you it's not. Gonna add a little garlic. I'm gonna add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the Latin spice blend. Let that cook out and develop the flavor. And if you want to look under a potato and just check it, starting to get golden around the outside, just want to make sure it doesn't get too brown, but these still have another 2 or 3 minutes while my vegetables are cooking. I'm going to add just a splash of milk to my 9 eggs. A little bit of salt. So when this comes out, it'll be in the shape of that pan, and you can cut nice wedges. One of the things you need to have going, which I should have mentioned already, is you have your oven preheating to 350 at this point. It's nice to put your frittata in at 350, and then you lower the temperature down to about 3 1/4 after about 10 minutes. So our potatoes now should be nice and golden. Check the ones on the edge too. The one in the middle is usually going to be a little more brown. You want them all just to be starting to turn golden brown, at least on the edges. You move them around a little bit. They will continue to brown a little bit in the pan. So this is ideal right there. Nice golden brown. At this point, go ahead, turn your veggies off. And you can turn your potatoes off. Lay your onion and pepper mix on top of your potatoes. Pour your eggs slowly so you don't flood the bottom too quickly. And we have nice organic mozzarella. About a 1/2 cup. And a nice little bit of Reggiano Parmesan. And then this goes into the oven for about 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes at about 350 for 10 to 15 minutes, and then turn it down to 3 1/4 for the remainder of the time. So the frittata's been in for 35 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. You can tell when you shake it that it's nice and firm. If it still wiggles, then you know that it's not quite done in the middle. You can also kind of move it on its side a little bit. It tends to fall from one side to the other. And then what I like to do is just to let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then after it has sat, I go ahead and take a cutting board and put it right on the pan and invert the pan, and carefully just shake it, make sure that it's loose, and flip it up. There you have your frittata. And all the vegetables kept the potatoes on the surface, so it's got a nice caramelized potato top layer. And you can cut it into, sometimes you need a serrated knife to get through or maybe avoid the potato edge. That's it, our Latin spiced cheesy frittata with organic omega-3 tasty eggs. There it is, bon appetit, happy breakfast.